Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? And welcome back to another video. So, one of my most requested things is, can you make some cool budget guns that maybe, we haven't seen before, or some interesting things that, we might want to try out ourselves? And I think I've got a couple of picks here from stuff that will range from, Chad destroyers on a budget to, stuff you can use for while you're questing, while you're doing loot runs and stuff, something cheap. You don't want to bring a pistol with you. Maybe you're not too confident with your pistols. And maybe you just want to bring something that can go full auto, spray down a couple of scavs and defend yourself against other, moderately geared PMCs. And most of the guns in this video will basically work against anybody who doesn't have a visor. And then some of the builds will work against people that have visors. Now, class 3 visors, they can be a little bit iffy. You never know when they're gonna, you're gonna kill somebody through a class 3 visor. Altons and Reese T's, again, you never know. Kill a visor, unlucky, go next. But thankfully, we don't really run into too many people running kill visors. So I am hopefully going to show you guys a couple of builds here that you guys can try out. Hopefully, you guys will see some success with them. And the first gun that I have up here is going to be the MPX. Now, everybody always tells me that the MPX is one of their favorite guns and they much prefer it over the MP5. Well, I built a budget version of both, and I'm going to show you guys both of them, and you guys can decide which one you enjoy more. So, here are the two guns. This is one of the MPXs I've seen a lot of people running in-game. It's just one of the more common SMGs to see because it's easy to grab, easy to mod, easy to run with. And this gun costs, so $310, which works out to be about 50k for the base gun. And then, with whatever you have left over in your 50k, you can get an optic, you can get a foregrip, you can get whatever. But this is just a very common loadout that I've seen people running. The stats on it are 42, 210, nothing insane. The gun altogether probably costs, I don't know, maybe 60k or so. So I'm going to show you guys. This is the MPX. I just got a little P1X on there. This is about as cheap as it gets. And I just want you guys to just watch the recoil on this, okay? So this target here, medium range, you can expect to be engaging people, with this range with an SMG. So as you guys can see, pretty easily controllable. Doesn't really have much spread. When you get to the long range, there you go. For everybody complaining that I wasn't doing that in my last videos, I'm doing it now. There you go. But when you start getting to the long range kind of stuff, the full auto becomes a lot more unruly. Now, this is where the MP5 SD comes in. Now, I believe the MP5 SD is quest locked, but I'm pretty sure you get it quite early. And this only costs $402. So $402, you're looking at 63k. And then all you need to do is get the MFI HK Universal Low Profile Scope Mount. Thankfully, now they're not sold out all the time. You can actually get them quite easily. And then just for the sake of this being a budget, I just put a little PKO6 on it. So let's see how this slightly more expensive SMG compares to the MPX. So we're going to engage on this medium target here. It's an absolute laser beam. We're going to full auto. Same long distance shot. Without even controlling it. Barely at all. Every single shot hit center mass there at that distance. So lads, if I was you guys, I would spring the extra little bit of money, spend a little bit of extra time unlocking the quest that gives you this gun, and I would absolutely run this over any variant of the MPX. I think the MP5 is one of the most versatile and probably, at least in my opinion, the best SMG in the game. Now everybody's going to say, ooh, what about the Vector? Yeah, but the Vectors are, the Vectors are rather expensive for anybody who's going to be saying, oh, just get a Vector, it's better. Dude, Vectors are almost 100k just for the base gun, and this video is about budget guns. So lads, the MP5 SD with a PKO6 on it comes in my number 5 slot. Not in any, particular order. This is probably, one of the top 3 guns, at least for me, for budget runs. So give them both a try, see what you think, but I think you're going to enjoy the MP5 SD more. Now, next gun. So here we have the Scar, the MK16. This was submitted by my boy Stretched Apart in Discord as his choice for one of the budget guns. Now, you might be asking yourself, but this kind of looks expensive. Well, lads, to be honest with you, he's got the cost right here. And altogether, this gun cost him 100,500 rubles. Now, why am I including this in the video when the gun itself is going to cost a lot more than 100k, right? So you're looking at 112k for this gun. Now, however, I have seen that a lot of people this wipe are actually doing raider farming on Lighthouse. It's been a very, very profitable way for people to go ahead and, make a bunch of money grab a bunch of really good gear, grab some armor, grab some helmets, grab some nades, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people are farming Lighthouse because it's very easily done. You can farm Lighthouse dirt cheap. You can use a VPO 215 with those AP shots, and you can one-tap all the raiders. Absolutely easy. So I've had a lot of people tell me that they actually have a bunch of MK16s just like sitting around their stash. So this is why I'm including this gun, excluding, like, do not buy this gun from the trader. It is not worth the money that you will spend on this from the trader, okay? But it is very, very cheap to run. This gun is only 100k to mod, and it's an absolute beam. It's a fantastic option for those of you that maybe don't like the 5.56 MDR, which is another, you know, definite, you know, competitive choice for this. However, it's much easier to get your hands on 5.56 scars. And I personally think this gun is massively underrated this wipe. I've run the 5.56 scar a lot this wipe with a lot of success. And I think it's just a super, super fun gun that a lot of people are just either building wrong, or they're just taking the one that they get from the raiders and they're taking that straight into their runs. And when they come straight from the raiders, they're terrible. They're really bad. They don't have suppressors. They have terrible grips. So with this loadout, okay, so what we're using on this is notably the RC2 suppressor with the Surefire War Compensator. And then all we have on that is different from the base build is the MREX 6.5 MLOC. And then we just have a... what are these things even called? I never see people running these, but this is what he had in his build, so I wanted to use it. A Gunfighter Mod 3 Vertical Grip, the BCM. So you could swap that out for something else if you wanted to, but this is just, you know, a cheap option. And then we've just got an XPS 3.0 on this. It's just a really good gun. I was actually really surprised when I took it to the shooting range to see how it ran. So we're going to do our little test here. We're going to go medium range first. As you can see, every shot easily on target without even having to control it too much. And then at long range, once again, pretty much every single shot, maybe one or two or three might have dipped around the silhouette of the target there. But this gun runs great. And I think that a lot of people are definitely sleeping on this gun. And I think personally, this gun has performed a lot better for me this wipe than the HK has and the M4 has. The HK has screwed me so many times because of the ridiculous jump that it has when you first pull the trigger, and then the crazy bounciness towards like the middle and then towards like the end of the mag. It's so hard to control. But with the Scar, it's just a beam. And it's just great. It doesn't have any of that really awful initial kick. So if you are a fan of 5.56, I'm going to recommend this build really strongly, especially if you farm rogues. You can, you know, run this gun all the time. You can easily make enough money to run this after getting out with, you know, one or two of these guns after doing a rogue farming run, along with all the other stuff that you're going to get. So this is my number 2 gun for around 100k. So here we have it, lads. We all know that the mutant kind of reigns supreme right now. However, mutants, rather expensive. Also rather rare to find in raid. You're looking at 140,000 rubles for this one right here. Whereas this AKM, you can easily grab AKMs on your scav runs and then just grab this super cheap DTK4 suppressor, a little B10M, a little bastion rail, whatever optic on top that you want, and then a little butt pad. This gun actually ended up costing more because I went ahead and bought the black stock and the black pistol grip just to make it look a bit cooler. And then, you know, whatever flashlight, or you can even run it without a tactical device as well if you even want to save even more money. And then just a little RK6 here just for some more ergonomics. But again, of course, you can swap this out to whatever your budget lets you. But this AKM variant runs very well, especially at medium range. You can get your shots, you know, pretty much bang on target. The way the optic jumps around there is making it look a little bit more aggressive than it actually is. However, at long range, I definitely wouldn't recommend full autoing. Definitely want to be tap firing this thing at long range. I'm going to full auto it here just to give you guys a look. Put it on this just so you guys can see a little better, but it's definitely a little bit hard to control. But even with, you know, a mutant or even a best in slot AKM, you probably wouldn't want to be holding down the trigger ranges any farther than this anyway. But I would definitely recommend tap firing this thing from a distance and then running this thing with either PS rounds, US ammo, or BP if you have access to it. Will do wonders for you. This gun is great. As I've said before, anything that runs BP will absolutely shred your enemies. You're looking at about 102k for this AKM setup, and this is by far one of my favorite looking suppressors in the game as well. It looks really cool. So again, we've got a gun here, about 102k. Just find the AKM on a scav run. And another thing, Dickie Bird is the one who linked me this, and he said a lot of these parts you can actually find on scav guns anyway. So you can just, like, you know, if you've got a bunch of scav guns in your stash, you can take those parts off and you can use to put this together. So there it is. The only thing is, if you get this gun off a scav, just watch for jams. The quality of them is usually, you know, not super great, but it'll definitely do the job for you. And then altogether for, you know, about 100k, you're looking at a pretty decent AKM build. Also, if you put any kind of optic on this as well, very good for long range. You can even do shooter born in heaven with this, like super easy. BP rounds are fantastic for it. PS rounds will do the job as well. But you probably want to use BP to make sure that when you actually hit them in the head, they actually die, because PS rounds will sometimes bounce off even penis helmets. So just keep that in mind. But there it is. Cheeky little 100k AKM for you guys. Now, our next gun. Some of you guys who've been around for a while will actually recognize this little M4 that I've got right here. So this is a build that I came up with probably a year and a half ago, I want to say. And I ran this thing all the time. This was one of my favorite M4s to use. The only thing that I'm going to show you guys here is you can swap out the gas block, but I know a lot of people will be like, oh, but you know, I have a bunch of M4s with this and I don't have access to, you know, the low profile gas blocks or whatever. That doesn't matter. It's still, you can still see through the optic just fine with this. It's just a little bit annoying. Like you're still well above it, but this is a dirt cheap M4, no suppressor. If you have a task that requires you to kill people with an M4 and you don't want to spend a bunch of money on a best in slot one, let me show you guys how it works at medium range. So as you can see, every shot on target without much control at all. And then at long range, again, little bit bouncy. Probably want to burst fire, probably want to tap fire at super long ranges. But for the price of this M4, the trade-off is pretty damn worth it, I'm not going to lie. I called it 100k M4, but it's definitely a lot cheaper than that. And you are looking at about 90k to mod this thing. And that's it. So in this, we are running the Viper handguard. We are running the stock pistol grip. Some rails just for flashlights and stuff. Again, the flashlights are totally optional. However, I would recommend getting this, the Double Star Ace 0.5-inch recoil pad, because it does give you a decent bit of recoil reduction. You're looking at -3 and then +2 to the ergonomics. Then we just have an M-lock on there. Simple. And then this is the stock that we're using, the Ace Double Star SOCOM Gen 4, which you have probably never even seen in the game before, because I never see anybody using them. And then one of the best muzzle brakes for 5.56 in the game, we're using the Bulltech ST, which is just cheap and cheerful, does the job. It's got -14% recoil reduction with +3% accuracy. Great little muzzle brake, does the job. And then Peacekeeper, just have a basic little holographic on it, because you don't need any more than that. You can put a scope on this if you want, but if you're going to put a scope on this gun, I would probably recommend suppressing it, because as soon as you fire off an M4, everybody's going to know where you're shooting from. So if you want that aspect of stealth, you can definitely go ahead and grab just a super cheap, the QDC, yeah, with a little NT4. And then this with the NT4, you're only going to add $365, so however much that is in rubles, along with the brake, which is $43. So let's say we're adding $400 to the price. So not too bad. Probably all in all, probably maybe like 110k, I want to say, if I just take all of this stuff off. We are looking at 130k. So that's not too bad if you want to throw the suppressor on. Suppressor for 30k, that sounds about right. But there you have it, lads. Obviously, this gun is about 90k in the configuration that I was showing you guys earlier. You just have to have the M4 first. M4's not too hard to find. There's also a really fantastic trade here at Mechanic. Let me just show you guys for anybody who doesn't know. This one, the LVOA M4. Now, the thing that's good about this is it comes with the MUR1S, which is basically the best receiver for the M4s in the game. And these trade for only 4 GP coins. So if you got a bunch of GP coins hanging around that are maybe not found in raid, you can use this, grab this M4, then build it out the way I showed you. Or you can just swap out the handguard, or rather leave the handguard on it and just run this handguard as is. Put your little Bulltech compensator on there, change the stock, put whatever optic you want on it, and you're good to go. Already even comes pre-installed with the rails that you need for a flashlight and the rails that you need for a grip, which is a really, really awesome trade. So there you have it, lads. That is my cheeky little M4 build. Really fun, really good in CQB. Not too bad at long range. You just got to control your bursts. So lads, here we have the goddamn breacher. This thing, the Model 870 Remington, is absolutely sick. This is such a good gun. I got this gun from a viewer of mine during a budget run, and it ended up lasting me forever. This gun is dirt cheap. You can trade it for a power bank, which is 25k right now, and weapon parts 12k right now. You're looking at 37k for this gun. The only thing that I've changed is that I have added in the 10 slot mag into it, or you can put in the 7 shell mag if you prefer the aesthetic of that. But I don't really care about the aesthetic of this. It's a cheap little shotgun. Get your 10 rounds in, stick some APs in it, stick some flechettes in it, stick some freaking any kind of flesh damage rounds in it, your magnum buckshots, whatever, and you will absolutely destroy anybody you run into with this. I was running it with AP20s, and then I was just leaning around a corner waiting for somebody to peek their little head. Bang, they're dead. Bang, they're dead. Bang, they're dead. This thing is great. And also, nobody's going to take this. Why would anybody take this gun? It's absolutely worthless. It takes up a bunch of space, so it's probably going to get left behind in insurance all the time. If somebody does happen to take your gun, they're likely going to find something else, maybe take off the optic, maybe take off the foregrip, and then leave you with the base of the gun. So this is another one of those like insurance cannons, but instead of the massive, you know, 12 slot 153 or whatever the hell it is, we've got a little 6x2 slot breacher M870. It's really slept on. Nobody uses it. Everybody thinks pump actions suck. I personally think that pump actions are actually better than semi-automatic shotguns because you always get caught up in the moment and you're just like bang, 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 and then you blow through all your ammo. At least with this, you've got to be like a little bit more precise, so it like trains you to make your shots count rather than just spam left click when you get right up in somebody's face. So lads, that is it. That is my top 5 budget guns at the moment that the community likes, and also guns that I have run in the past that I think are absolutely fantastic and will cost you at the most expensive 130k if you want to suppress that M4, and then at the cheapest, this thing was what? Not even 40k. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys found it helpful, you guys enjoyed the builds, or you guys have some of your own favorite gun builds, leave them in a comment down below or post a screenshot of them in my EFT Discord. So lads, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to leave a like, leave a comment down below. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you guys enjoy the content. It helps me out a lot. All my socials will be down in the description. And yeah, that's it, lads. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, my dudes.